Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me.
Welcome back, it's me, Lou. Today we are going to assemble Bane. Alright, so this action figure belongs to the McFarlane DC Multiverse line of action figures. It was a part of the Last Night on Earth Build-A-Figure wave, and it's almost all of the pieces are here. The only thing missing is the Scarecrow action figure that mounts onto his back. In all honesty, I don't really care much about, the Scarecrow action figure. I just kind of wanted Bane, by himself. This was something I came across on eBay for a super reasonable price, so I decided to pull the trigger on it. Alright, so let's get started. So first off, we have his head here. It almost resembles the McFarlane character Spawn. Let's take a look at that real quick. With the black and the white markings, it's very Spawn-like. It's a very tiny head too, because if you look, the torso is this massive. So in the comic book Batman The Last Night on Earth, it's actually a story that takes place in the future. I think it's an alternate reality. So the reason why Bane's flesh tone is kind of like all grayed out, because he's practically zombied out. And I don't mind, I love all the different variations of Bane we've gotten throughout the years, whether he's the swolled out luchador looking kind of Bane, like the OG one, or even like the Tom Hardy Bane from the Dark Knight trilogy. Bane's always been a character that's fascinated me, so I kind of accept all his different looks. I like this figure a lot because it's super bulky and he's just really burly and swolled out. Alright, so let's get started. First off, we'll begin with the torso and the head. Let's assemble those two pieces together. Very simple. There's a peg on top of the neck, and then there's a socket inside of the head. And I think we just gently push the pieces together. And I think that's it. It doesn't snap in place. It's kind of this goes on. Next, let's do his hands. Let's attach his right hand to his right arm. Very simple. Socket, mushroom peg, and let's just try to squeeze it on. I think that's it. No, it's not in all the way. It's a very tight socket. I just want to go in all the way. Okay, I think I have it in. These are really tight. Alright. Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna I'm gonna hurt a muscle. Alright, so we did that. Let's do the next one. The sockets are super tight, which is a good thing. I mean, you just don't want the pieces to fall apart, but still. Alright, this one went in a lot easier than the other one. It allows for some kind of like rocking motion on the inside, which is nice. But I think if you rock it out too much, it'll pop from the socket like so. Yeah, the peg here isn't as long as it should be. The socket's actually a lot deeper. So, God, it doesn't go in all the way. Unless, I think that's it. Or let me try this one again. I don't think I got this one in all the way. All right, there we go. I think that's it. All right, so we got that done. Let's do his legs next. Very large mushroom pegs, and then the socket here. My big concern is when I attach the pieces, is that the kind of like this, the piece here. I don't want to actually pinch the material, the overlay right there. So. Alright, I know this isn't rocket science, but man, some of these pieces don't assemble very well. Alright, just give me a moment. This is not working. Let me try the other leg. This might have been the reason why the person sold it. maybe this figure isn't cracked up, you know, all to what it should be. Wow, this does not want to go in. Or I think that's it. This is... Alright, this one can't... Alright, that one's super tight. This one went in alright. Let's go back to the other leg. This one was a pain in the butt. Doesn't want to plug in all the way. It's very frustrating. All right, let's get this. God damn it. Now this other leg's coming off. The one I got on earlier doesn't want to stay on. All right, now I got that one on. All right, let's get this one on. Come on, baby. Man, that was a chore. I think I pulled a muscle. The frustrating thing is, when I push one end, the opposite side of it would want to pop out. And I think it doesn't help that the pegs aren't very long. And the arm should be pretty easy, you know. Let's just see if we get this in. Oh my god, this won't go in. Let's try the other one. This is this is terrible. This is not the kind of video I thought it'd shape out to be. I thought this would be a lot easier. Alright, this is not working for me. Dude, it's right there. It does not want to plug in. Oh, Jesus. He is impressive. It looks... This guy's a beast. He's not as heavy as that DC Collectibles Arkham Asylum Bane that I looked at previously. But this is still a very burly figure. Alright, let's get this last one in. Oh, jeez. Man, I get a workout. But it's worth it in the end. This is crazy. So the Scarecrow figure from the Last Night on Earth assortment, he plugs into the back right there. But I don't really care for that. I've seen some sellers online sell custom Venom canisters that you can like put on his back. If you're unfamiliar with Bane and Venom, Venom's kind of like the equivalent of like the steroids that he injects into his system that like bulks him up. And you have some evidence of it here. Normally it's the green tubing on his costume. On some of the earlier versions of the character, you know, he would have the hoses in the back of his head plugged into his arms and into his back, and then they'd be pumping that green fluid that we see right there. Okay, so I'm a little winded right now. I didn't expect that to be so hard. Alright, so everything I think is in place. I don't think his legs are going to pop off. Alright, nice big burly character. Alright, let's get a size measurement on this guy. He comes in at about almost 8.5 inches. For a size comparison, here he is next to the McFarlane designed Batman. As you can see, he just towers over him. Enormous looking figure. Really heavy too. But, you know, surprisingly, he's not as heavy as that Arkham Asylum Bane that I was looking at earlier in the week. Okay, so let's take a look at the sculpting up close. The head sculpt is well done. Like I said, it kind of resembles Spawn. He has this crazy, wicked texture on his skin. You know, he's kind of like zombied out a little. He's like very gray. Beautiful texture on his shirt, as you can see. Beautiful detailing on the belt. Asymmetrical design. He has the Venom and the hoses on his right forearm, and then he has these giant, like, ham hocks for like fists. He has a strap here on his left bicep. Here's the back detail. Really well done. A nice texture. It's almost like a burlap texture on his pants. He has some pockets. Knee pads, asymmetrical design. Shin guards on one leg. Nice thick combat boots. In terms of articulation, this guy's head rotates. Does he look down a little? Does he look up? Not so much. His arms rotate. Whoops. Alright, so this is what I was talking about earlier. The hands, no matter how hard I press, they don't want to stay inside of the wrist. The wrist here, it's a little bit deeper than the peg. So the peg doesn't reach to the bottom. So let's try to put it back in. I think that's the best I can do. It's probably going to fall out again. Yeah, these things don't want to stay in. Which is alright, I guess, but it would have been nice if they'd plug in all the way. Yeah, it's just too deep. The socket here is too deep. And then the bottom of the mushroom peg doesn't want to bottom out and lock into place. Yeah, so that's kind of a fault in the design, I think. Alright, so yeah, his arms rotate. He only has a single pinned elbow right there. Not a whole lot of motion. And again, the hand keeps on popping out. Very frustrating. There is no butterfly joint, so the range of motions is kind of limited. He does have waist articulation. Not much of an ab crunch. It just kind of slightly rocks a little bit. His legs don't want to kick up. And also, due to the nature of the overlap on the crotchal area, you know, it's not going to kick up. His thighs are just going to swivel. Very limited in its articulation and motion. The knees bend. I think it's only a single pin And the pin, I believe, is hidden underneath the pockets. Or no, you can see it right there, but then it's slightly hidden under that one. And then there is ankle articulation, I believe. There's the pin. Ankles are articulated, and toe articulation. So it's a pretty solid figure. Very cool. It's a very cool rendition of Bane. I do have the other Bane, the Mega figure that was released in the deluxe box, that kind of represents more school. That represents the more so old school Bane, and I'll review that in the future. I do like this guy's proportions a lot more than the other Bane. Because for me, I kind of envision Bane kind of looking more like the Hulk, with very uneven proportions, where he's more top heavy. And it's solid. I mean, you could get some. There you go again. The hand just keeps on popping out. You really can't get him into too many like creative poses, just because it's not very, very frustrating. Right? So yeah, so I might just cut this review a little bit short. I can't deal with the fact that every time I move him, something wants to pop out. It's an impressive display piece, and I'll give it that. I think visually he's a perfect 10, but if you're looking for something that you really want to articulate and pose in all sorts of, like, you know, wacky positions, this guy is not going to do it for you. It's kind of limited in his articulation. He's limited in his posing. The range of movement isn't the greatest. But if you want, like, just an impressive Bane figure, I think this one's really hard to beat. It's a beast. This guy's enormous. I think this color scheme might turn off some people, because if you want the much more traditional Bane, the Mega figure that was released recently is probably gonna be up your alley. This one's, you know, it's like I said, he's a little bit more zombified, being all grayed out. In some ways, I think it's kind of cool. It reminds me of the Gray Hulk, or even like the old Dale Keown character, the Pit. But yeah, this is pretty badass. Alright, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.